Welcome to the Two Blokes Chatting radio show on 94.7 The Pulse. Music, interviews, news, and, well, Two Blokes Chatting. Now, here are the two blokes.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Great to have you aboard, because this subject is not normally talked about on a hybrid sport radio show, but Neil keeps finding these interesting people who attach us to regional Victoria or regional Australia and the troubled times that COVID has created for small communities, and perhaps isolating them even more than perhaps someone in Melbourne thinks that isolated really means. How are you going up there in the village of Nil?
Look, we've been really lucky this year during COVID. I think we haven't had a single case, a positive case here in our shire. So it's been something that we deal with every day without having to actually
deal with it.
So yeah, we're very lucky that agriculture has been deemed an essential service. So most people in the area have been able to work from home or work as normal.
And one of the problems that we've had is the connection with South Australia and Victoria. And at Nil, you're close enough to the South Australian border to probably have experienced issues with some of your clients, contacts, friends, whatever the case may be. And I know personally from trying to get stock across the border has been a bit of an issue. But has that been the toughest part of it?
It has, yeah. We're probably about 50 minutes from the South Australian border here, so a lot of our machinery gets serviced over the border in Border Town. We also send our sheep and cows over there to, I guess,
meet their maker.
Life for meat. So that has been quite tricky, but it's sort of all hopefully opening up soon that we can return to some normal activities over the border. And being so close, we have quite a lot of friends just over the border that are closer to us than Melbourne, but because of the invisible line of the states, we can't see them, which is really sad. But, you know, in the big picture, we have come off very well compared to our metropolitan counterparts in that respect.
So, Katherine, the reason that I invited you to come along here, apart from chatting about life in Nil, is you're involved in a couple of really interesting programs, and these are the sort of programs I think should be promoted. And one of those is Partners in Ag, and I'd like to get a little bit about what Partners in Ag is all about, but also the group of people in your town, the Karen migrants, and not Karen migrants, as I foolishly said at the start, because it's spelt the same way. Take one of those two programs and just give us a bit of an overview of what's going on in your town.
Yeah, sure. So Partners in Ag is a not-for-profit organisation that facilitates training workshops for farmers. We operate across Victoria and Tasmania, so I've been working from home for the last couple of years, so this year's sort of just been a run-of-the-mill for me. But we saw state, federal and philanthropic funding to provide workshops in small communities. Our most popular topics are around financial literacy, succession planning on farm, and also the ag tech side of farming as well, which is becoming very popular and very vital for farmers.
Because I think there'd be a lot of people who live even in a place that's regional like Geelong, but think, well, there's not too much to it really. Farmers learn from their dad, because dad had the farm before they had it, and you stick some wheat in the ground, and I think that there's a real lack of appreciation by people who have not spent a lot of time in what I'll call proper regional Australia, as to the skills and knowledge required, and not just about farming, but as you say, financial literacy. How do the health and safety stuff must be critical.
It's massive. Farming as a career has changed from sort of the traditional stereotype of a farmer who drives the tractor, harvests the crop, or, shears the sheep, and that's the end of it. They have to be financially literate to the point where they have to understand the financial risks that they're making with every decision on farm. They also have to be proficient in marketing, so when they're marketing their grain themselves or having someone do that on their behalf. Every aspect of farming has changed so much over the last 20 years, and farmers are having to keep up as well as do everything else in their life. I think, average hours for a farmer is like average rainfall, just doesn't really exist in the real world, except for on the news. So I think the skill sets that farmers need to be successful is such a huge, huge range that, at Partners in Ag, we're trying to sort of bring everyone up to speed so that they are confident in what they know and, I guess, are more aware of what they don't know and how they can fill those skill gaps.
Because you stumbled
having to travel.
You used a really good word in there, and you said farming as a career. I lived on a wheat farm when I was teaching in the mid-'80s, and I would have said farming was more of a lifestyle in those days, in so much as it was your source of income, but it wasn't anywhere near the business that it is now, and the career.
Yeah, it is very much a big business. In some small communities, some of the bigger farmers, most farmers would be dealing in numbers bigger than any of your retail shops down the main street. And I think that there's a perception around agriculture that it's not seen as valuable as sort of the retail or hospitality sector in the small towns. But if the farmers are doing well, the rest of the businesses in town are doing as well.
There's no doubt about they definitely spend, and to take on board something Neil said about you learn farming from your father, that's one of the most amazing changes to me, was that the old style methods of the 50s, 60s, 70s, even probably carried into parts of the 80s, a lot of people who followed that fell by the wayside. It was the progressive new age farmers, that the minimum tillage, the GPS systems that are available to agriculture now, I still find mind-boggling, and they change and improve every year. But I think the biggest change from where we are here and just on the fringe of Geelong is the amount of city money that's coming out, and it's coming out not just a hobby farm. This is serious money coming out to buy up serious agriculture, appointing managers who are Marcus Oldham type trained, and turning these enterprises into extraordinarily productive enterprises on countryside that previous to that just had never seen yields or wool cut or meat production that they've seen before, just by this incredible wave of knowledge that you mentioned has come into the industry in the last 20 years. Are you seeing that up in the Mallee as well?
We are, yes. It's the difference between sort of your below average and above average farmers in terms of innovation and progression gets bigger every year, and particularly in good years like we are having here in the region. You can tell the people that are trying new things, adopting to new technology and new methods. We see a lot of sort of self-managed super funds and corporates buying big parcels of land. You sort of think.
And this is even international money as well, coming in the way of super funds and companies like that buying in.
Yes, we also see like the abattoirs and sort of the big corporates down south buying up farms around here to run their livestock on as well. So, and they're contracting that out to locals. So the farms are getting bigger, but there's still a lot of employment opportunities in ag on the ground in regional areas.
Yeah, and they're just vital, as Neil said, vital to the vibrance of a small country community, because the farmers, they're not only involved in employment and things like that, they are great community people normally, and spend within the community and prop up a lot of parts of the community that are in tough times. So it's just absolutely vital, a strong agricultural system. And I think in Victoria it's clearly as good as it's ever been, and continues to improve. And I guess it's organisations like yours that are driving that.
Yeah, we like to think we play a part in it, a small part. We are very not-for-profit. A lot of our competitors are sort of larger corporates based in sort of the regional centres that offer other services as well. But we really pride ourselves on all being farmers ourselves or within the industry. Our board members are all really passionate about seeing education in agriculture grow. There are quite a few gaps in that space in terms of, you're either going and doing a TAFE course or going to the likes of Longrenon College or Marcus Oldham, but there's quite a gap for us to provide sort of that base level health and safety training, the financial literacy that farmers don't have time to do a certificate if they're also running their farm, running staff, and often the case is that the partner's working off farm as well. So we see a half-day course or a full-day course as really beneficial to giving them the skills but not taking away from a lot of time off the farm as well.
Katherine, we're running out of time, so we probably should say come back another time if that's all right. Would you like to come back another time?
I'm happy to. Yep, love to.
And I will catch up with you off air too, Katherine, because there's some stuff there of great interest to me to what you do, so I'd like to follow up with that as well.
Wonderful.
And I actually became a member of Partners in Ag last night. I think there's I
did see the email come through.
I think there's actually an error on your website. It's $10 per year to be a member of Partners in Ag. So I'm going to get as many people as possible listening to this. Put your hand in your pocket, pull out $10 and support this thing, because it's all about supporting regional Australia. You know how passionate I am about that. So get on it. Rob's going to buy. He's going to join before the day's out. Don't worry about that.
Well, if we are plugging, the website is partnersinag.org.au.
Oh, we're not allowed to say partnersinag.org.au on the radio. That's it. We can't do that.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So I won't be saying partnersinag.org.au, all right?
I officially retract that statement.
Thanks, Katherine. Great to chat. We'll chat again soon.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Katherine. All the best.
Bye.